What's up, guys? Coach Ryan here. If you are finding yourself having a hard time finding some results in your health system, what you're working on, you're trying to burn fat, you're trying to get stronger, you're trying to offset from an injury that has set you back years, whatever it is, this post is for you today. So, looking forward to it. My name is Ryan Sanders. I'm the owner of Project Fresh, lead coach. And for over the last 13 years, I've had the opportunity to help people take control of their health, optimize performance, and build sustainable habits that actually stick. Myself, as a certified strength and conditioning specialist and a certified sports nutrition coach, I've had the opportunity to work with everyone from athletes to busy professionals to pastors to busy moms to dentists to uh, venture capitalists to many different kinds of entrepreneurs, engineers, lawyers. I worked with all kinds of different people, all walks of life, all backgrounds, Asian, Caucasian, Black, Hispanic, Latinx, you name it. I've had the opportunity to work with so many different people over these last 13 plus years. And this channel is dedicated to showing you guys how I coach them and my current clients through science and real world challenges. We use science backed methods and real world applications of challenges around fitness and nutrition. So I share the stories, the lessons, and the strategy or systems that make long term wellness possible. I've been talking a lot about systems, and I wanted to get into trusting a proven health system. I'm going to give you guys an analogy of something I'm currently working through related to my faith, which is what this all came about. I left a six-figure job back in 2016 to do this full time. I felt called to this. I felt the Lord Jesus Christ calling me to this to assist others in their health, in their fitness, and there was no number associated with that. What I was going to make, how I was going to pay the bills, especially after COVID and how things have been going over these last 6 years. There was no details. There wasn't going to be you're going to suffer or you're going to lose well over half of your client base in March of 2020. There wasn't you're going to try to invest with a company at a five-figure number and only see 10% of it back and struggle for the next 5 years. There was none of that. It was just you're going to go, you're going to work with people in their health and their fitness, anecdotally, science-based, everything you know, you're going to give them your best. And yeah, we've had some great up seasons, some really fun, cool clients to work with, and we've had some challenging seasons. But here's what I want to get to today is that if you put your trust into a system, a proven system, a tried and true system related to your health, your fitness, your nutrition, your wellness, we are getting more and more and more information at a breakneck speed related to what helps us have longevity. You guys, if you've been following me for a while, you know how we define longevity. It was one of our posts, I think, about a month ago. Longevity is not only just how long you live, aka lifespan, but it's also how well you live, the quality of those years you get to live, the health span, right? You have to use a tried and true, proven system to allow you to get those results. And it's really simple. As long as it focuses on movement, good fitness, movement patterns consistently, and good eating patterns consistently, that's all you need. It doesn't need to be special. It doesn't need to be something new. There's nothing new under the sun. If you hear that, if you see that, it's Susan at marketing trying to get you to buy something, right? There's nothing new. Move well, eat well, you're going to see things change. 90% of Americans, those two things will change the whole projection and experience of your health for the years to come. Now, that being said, I'm not going to get into the system today. If you do want assistance there, I'm just going to give you it right here real quick. I'm going to be sharing this on my Instagram. My wife is put together a post over the last 90 days. She did strength training. She did yoga. She did walking. She ate literally the same thing every day for 90 days, with the exception of Sundays. Sundays, no tracking. Sundays, free game, whatever sounded good. She ate. She lost over 17 pounds, almost 18 pounds of body fat, and lost under 1 pound of muscle. That is not the norm. When you lose weight, and I'm saying this in quotations, oftentimes people lose both body fat and muscle, and they get weaker, and they get more skinny fat, frailer, and they set themselves up for injury. For ladies, osteopenia, osteoporosis. When you're losing weight, quote unquote, you do not want to lose muscle. You want to burn fat. Okay, so she did just that. Over 17 pounds of body fat, maintained her muscle within a pound. I've done the same in my previous cuts. And excuse me, she did this over 90 days. She's going to post on her social media exactly what she ate every day, what she did. And it's not hard to do. It's simple, I should say. It's not easy to do, but it is simple. And so that's it. That's what you want to focus on: movement and eating consistently the foods that are going to help you change your body for where you want to go. All right, cool. Now, system, and more specifically trust. I'm going to give you guys something. I spoke to it a little bit, but I want to get into it. Yesterday was a wonderful day. We went to our church that we've been going to for since the beginning of the year, Lighthouse here in Denver. It's been truly a joy to connect with Pastor Miguel and that congregation there. And he was preaching out of John, 1 John, chapter 5, and I'm just going to get into it. And I, as an old pastor of ours said yesterday, he visited and he preached. We got to see him preach. He said, in the context of our faith as Christians, we're not engineers, we're not health coaches, we're not moms, we're not dads, we're not venture capitalists, we're not entrepreneurs, we're not fill in the blank that happen to be Christians. We're Christians that happen to be any of those things. And there's a lot of, let's put it this way, but Jesus that is being put out there by the main media or the main voices in Christianity is not the Jesus of the Bible. And I just want to say in the context of the same with fitness and nutrition, there's a lot of information that's on the internet right now that's being put out there that is not true, not necessary, not needed. It's extra, it's noise. It's, again, Karen at marketing trying to get you to buy something. It's, oh, we found this new thing, so that you go and you find out what it is and you get on their newsletter, and 60 days later you buy their product, and then they call you and all of a sudden you're in a 4-figure contract for 3 months, and they just scored another contract to raise their earnings for the year and fatten their profit, right? Their bottom line. So it's very simple. Now, do some of us need coaches at certain points in our life? Yes, I was one of those. When I actually came out of being an athlete in high school, I actually needed to learn how to actually work out correctly. I needed to learn how to eat correctly. Do I need to be coached in those things now? No, I coach that myself. Do I need a business coach right now? Yes, there's a season where I'm stuck, where there's a few things that I think I need to know, but there might be some things that I don't know, that I need someone to illuminate and assist me with moving forward so I can further make this business better, right? That is necessary, or I can just keep doing the school of hard knocks until I figure it out whenever that time comes, right? That's a coach in and of itself. Probably a little bit more expensive long term. But hopefully you guys get what I'm saying. And so I'm just going to use this as an analogy because I think there's some strong parallels here. What our pastor was saying, the one where we're at for the church, he was preaching from 1 John 5. And let me see, I want to get to the spot here. John is talking about, for everyone who has been born of God overcomes the world. We're seeing a lot of worldly Christianity taking place right now, where they're saying, kick out the foreigner, do not take care of the poor or the widow, they don't matter. Those who are black or brown or or not white, predominantly in the predominant ethnicity, if you will, are not as important. We're seeing all these messages implicitly and exceedingly explicitly, right? Okay, so that is the worldview. That's not a Christian view or a Jesus of the Bible viewpoint. And so whoever overcomes the world, except the one who believes that Jesus is the Son of God. Oh, who is that? So you ask that question. So he gets into testifying of what is true. But what I want to really get to is the word that really stood out here was trust. And I think, was it actually, let me see here if the word was actually stated, because he was reading from a different version. But ultimately, what I was gaining here from this was yesterday that when we follow Christ, it is the true gospel of Jesus is not an easy one to follow, because one, Jesus is alive and living and speaks to us through his Holy Spirit, but we don't necessarily get to meet him and interact with him like when he was here 2,000 plus years ago. And so there's a level of faith that's a part of it, but Pastor was getting into the trust component. Do we actually trust what this is saying, what this word is saying, and then act accordingly? I'm not just saying it with my mouth, which in communication we've heard that, as far as communicating with someone, our words are about 7% of communication, body language, actions, all those other things make up the rest, right? And you've heard me say what we think, we feel, what we feel, we do, what we do, we see results from. Well, that do is what I'm getting at, actually doing it. Okay. And so a couple of things that have really shown up for me in the context of where I'm at right now is that I've tried to figure this out, this business on my own. And the Lord says in Psalms 46, be still and know that I am the Lord. This is 46:10. Know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. I am the ultimate. I am the one. When, if you read the beginning of 46, it's talking about he's our refuge and strength, the very present help in a time of trouble. When the earth gives away, when the mountains are moved into the heart of the sea, when big mountains get pushed into the sea, when absolute chaos is going on, when mountains are trembling, you can trust me, you can believe in me. Another one that's really big for me right now that keeps showing up is Psalm 127. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil, for he gives to his beloved sleep. So that's a lot, right? As a believer in Christ, what the Lord is telling me is to wait on him, to trust him. He's the one who's going to show up in times of trouble, extreme difficulty. He's the one who's going to show up when it's time to build a house, when it's time to watch over what has been built. And that's hard. That's not what our world says. The world says you can pull your bootstraps up if you don't have any. You can pull up whatever you got underneath your feet, even if it's dirt and absolutely nothing. Rags to riches, right? The American dream. That is not in the Bible. The American dream is not there. God can give us the resources to ride that wave up, but ultimately, he is saying, trust him in your life and everything that you do. That is the pinnacle. That is the space with which we operate if we are truly Christians, truly followers of Jesus. I use the word Christian lightly because of how it's used in the United States. If we are truly followers of Christ, that is what you do. You do not rely upon yourself. If you've heard of Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight, right? So that's what I'm getting at in the context of trust. That is something that you cannot do by yourself. You need Jesus to fill that God-sized hole in your heart. So the parallel is in the context of your fitness. What do I find? The number one challenges with my clients is this. It is not easy to get in shape, clearly, especially in this culture where everything is about you deserve it, buy the things, enjoy the foods, have the lifestyle that's sedentary because you deserve it, because you work so hard, because it's so hard to operate in this environment. Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. It is definitely a hard environment to work in. That being said, it is also hard to suffer from all the things that we suffer from more and more and more. So, with that being said, and what I mean by that is sickness, disease, the inability to go and enjoy your lifestyle, right? So, with that being said, when you get into starting to improve your health and your fitness, there is a level of trust that must be given to that process. And no, I am not saying trust the process. I don't want to, that is not what I'm going for here. And it's that kind of cliche statement. It's that we want to trust that when we give our body what it needs, it's going to change. Now, there are certain cases like what I'm going through right now. I've got enough level of stress that even though I'm walking enough, hitting those 10K days and drinking enough water, hitting the gallon, I'm getting strength training in. I'm in a new martial art that I'm loving and enjoying. I finally got 2 days last weekend for the first time after doing it for about 9 weeks or so, 9, 10 weeks. And I'll talk about that down the road. My body is not quite shifting, and it turns out the stress levels, the cortisol, all those things are too high. I'm retaining water. I'm not able to shed like I normally would, like I would expect to, giving it the inputs. I expect to see my body change when I do X, Y, Z. I'm going to get a blood work done. I've got a thyroid specialist I'm going to work with, do my blood panels, do all those things. If you're interested, she's local here in Denver. I'd love to get you connected with her. She's wonderful at what she does, coming in as a warm referral to me and my network. So I'm very excited to work with her. I know what it takes to get me where I need to go. And even in trusting that it's not working, so that means I need to make some adjustments. But as those adjustments are made and I start to see my body shift again, then I can trust that it's going to happen. And that's what I'm getting at, is that you give your body what it needs, movement, good food, and maybe some other aspects like addressing stress, which is common for all of us, right? A lot of us here in the States. You can trust that the body's going to shift. And it's really hard. If you haven't done that before, it's really hard to hear someone like me say, do this. And it's funny, I was talking to my wife. This is what we're all in for today for our Money Lunch Live. I was talking to my wife about this, that sometimes blindly, I did this. I got a program. I was like, man, those guys are in really good shape, P90X. They're doing all those crazy moves. And I hear P90X is a program nobody can finish. Like, that's how P90X was introduced to me and my friends. And we were like, well, we want to be sexy engineers, so let's go do this thing. So we did it. 90 days later, cranking out over 10 pull-ups, all of us, having fun. The 90 minutes of yoga doesn't suck anymore. It feels good. Move in ways that we didn't think we could move. And by the end of our junior year, for most of us, or senior year, we were feeling really good. Like, we achieved the sexy engineer, especially at Northwestern, where it's a really freaking hard school for engineering. And then later, after I got out, I did it again, 2012, a few other programs, and I lost 33 pounds, and I started my true fitness journey where I was in the best shape I had ever been in my life. 188 pounds at 6'4", way too light. I've added on about 25 pounds of muscle since then, maybe a little bit more. But blindly, I just said, okay, Tony, whatever, name of the trainer, excuse me, for P90X, P90X2, P90X3, all the other stuff he's done. Okay, you know what you're doing. You're ripped, so clearly you know what you're doing. You're in your 50s and 60s. I'm a third of your age, third to a half of your age. Clearly you know what you're doing. I'm just going to follow. And I did. 90 days, 120 days. It was about 60 days, or excuse me, 6 months where it got me to that 33 pounds down. I just trusted it, eat what they say, work out, move how they say, and I was there. And I'm so glad I did. It really changed the trajectory. It was a paradigm shift for me in my health, especially considering what my family, as far as men go, what we experience in health. It was a shift. It was great. And now I have to trust that my body is going to shift as I move out of a stressful season into a more relaxed season, and doing things that I don't like. I don't like to rest. I don't like to stop. I don't like to slow down. I'm very type A. I've got a target. I'm going to chase it with everything I've got. I don't like slowing down, but I have to trust that slowing down, allowing my body to offload, shed off this stress is going to get me back into the space I want to be in. And in that meantime, as you heard me say here with the analogy from the word, from what I believe in as far as my faith, trusting that the Lord is going to show up and guide me, build a house. He's going to show me what's next while everything around feels like it's falling apart. Be still and know that I'm the Lord. That is the trust factor. And so I want to encourage that for you guys. It is not easy, but if you trust it, if you work with it one day at a time, giving it the best you can, even if it's 5 minutes, today I spent an extra 5 minutes to give myself an extra 10, 20 grams of protein. I spent an extra 5 minutes working on my calves, my lower calf Achilles into my calves, because, it's been really driving me crazy when I play pickleball or racket sport or whatever it is that you enjoy doing, right? I just choose pickleball because I saw a pickleball like place to play, like a pickleball gym down in southern Denver Metro. So, it's growing like crazy, that sport. But that is the thing. If you've got something that's proven, trust it's going to work because it's stated proven for a reason. It works. So trust that time is going to provide the results you're looking for. And I do that encouragingly. If this is like not resonating, but you're like curious and want to learn more, I'd love to offer 15 minutes to chat with you one-on-one. Just go ahead and drop in the chat. I'll see that and I'll make sure we get scheduled so you and I can talk further. Because I remember where I was when I was, it would have been 21, and then again at 22, 23. And even through my 20s, I was sitting confined to a desk for a long time. Is this going to actually work? I know it worked in the past, but is it going to work even right now in my mid 30s? Is this going to work? And I have to tell myself, yes, it is. The same with trusting God. Is it going to work? Well, if his word is true and I do what he says, obedience out of love, as the word says, then yeah, he's not going to leave me nor forsake me. He's not going to put me in a place and space where I'm going to be worse off in following him. That's another thing contrary to what it means to be a believer. Believing God doesn't mean your life is going to be up and to the right? We're not supposed to get bigger houses. We're not supposed to be wealthier as a result of following Christ. That's not what this book says. But if you follow a proven system related to walking, exercise, fitness, eating well, the body's going to respond. And even if you do have challenging conditions, I've seen ladies with fibromyalgia have wonderful results predicated off of a terrible, challenging, I wouldn't say terrible, but very challenging pregnancy, hormonal challenges of all kinds, what is it? It's going to come to me. Inflammatory, metabolic diseases, cancer, inflammatory diseases, autoimmune is what I was going for. So see people, POTS and multiple sclerosis, MS. I can't get the S out for some reason. I've seen people still challenge themselves, hypermobility, still challenge themselves and give it their best, honor their body, honor the responses they're getting, not push themselves beyond their limit, but give it their best in what they eat, how they exercise, and see themselves over time feel better. So if that's of any encouragement to you, that's my goal for today. If you'd like to talk more about, like, Ryan, I'm just not quite getting you, I have some questions, drop chat in the chat. I'd love to connect with you further and go from there. And I know today's a little bit longer than usual. I say that a lot, but ultimately, I hope this is of an encouragement to you guys, something that would, even if it's one person, spark some inspiration, some motivational change for you. I'll finish this thought by saying that what we found oftentimes is that when it comes to changing our health outcomes, moving from poor to positive health outcomes, oftentimes 4 out of 5 people on average need a situational motivation to get them moving. A death in the family, health scare, something, an injury, something just doesn't go well. All of a sudden, the light bulb on the the check engine light pops on the dash, and you're like, oh crap, I better do something. Whereas the other 1 out of 5 have an inspirational motivation. They see a friend run a 10K. My boy Femi just hit the 10K in Calgary while it was freezing cold yesterday and got it done with some friends. I am inspired by him. I don't run, but he got it done. I love that he got it done. I think he said he's got some more that he's working up towards, I think a half, if not a full. And so a friend of mine that inspires me as what I do. I do this all the time. So that's the other 1 out of 5. And so I hope that you guys get to have that inspirational motivation versus the situational motivation. That's how my journey started, but that is ultimately why we're here. There's hopefully something to be said that would spur you on to take this to that next level for yourself so you can live and enjoy the life that you want. And that's what we're all about here at Project Fresh. So that being said, hope you guys have a wonderful start to the week. We're midway through May here. So before we know it, June's going to be here. Not so much so here in the Denver area. We've got rain, sleet, and threatening snow. Won't know for sure if it pours down snow until tonight. But ultimately, hope you guys are having a great start to spring as we lead into summer. We'll see you this time, same place. Monday, lunch live, 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 11 on the West Coast, 2 p.m. on the East Coast. I hope you